This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, Travel Tuesday on the After Party Live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. You guys are so generous. Thank you for all the contributions to the Mark Thompson Show today and for being so supportive of Michael Schur, who is amazing. And I'm really lucky to get to spend time with him this week. Okay, and Mark keeps saying I have a crush on Michael Schur, which, although I really adore Michael Schur, the news crush is on Jim Avila, just so we're straight on all of this. Last night, I got the best message from Heather, who I hope is in the chat. And she sent me this video, which I am compelled to share with you. And I don't know if, I don't know, my fascination with crocodiles going after laser pointers probably overweighs the fact that someone's messing with the crocodiles trying to do this to them. But who knew that crocs were a little bit like house cats in this situation? Again, credit goes to Heather on this one. Check it out.
What's he think it is?
You see, can you guys see the green dot there? There he is.
Oh my gosh.
He's going for that green dot over and over again, jumping for that laser. Just like a house cat would do.
That's just too much, Phil. This is
Which I guess it makes sense, right? Because you would think that I'll pause it. You would think that crocodiles see movement on the shore and go for it, and they'll bite anything, a human, whatever, not knowing. So maybe it's the movement, and maybe that's why the laser pointer, they're attracted to that movement and will bite it and try to go after it. But I found that fascinating. Let's keep watching.
oh my gosh.
Getting a belly full of duckweed anyway.
That's just too much, Phil. This is
Absolutely crazy. Anyway, thanks to Heather for sending that video to me. I thought that was pretty awesome. This piece of knowledge may save your life someday. It is kind of cute. I don't know. On one hand, I was like, oh, is it mean to be messing with them like that? On the other hand, wow, I thought that was kind of cool. Sandy said, when I saw Crocs, I thought it was the ugly shoes. Kids are back into Crocs now. Kids are, I don't know. At least Kim started late. Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm proud to serve, Trevor Starr. Thank you very much. This show is crowdfunded. Thank you to everyone who continues to contribute to PayPal. I had a couple more contributions come in last night. And I'm just so thankful that you guys like the show enough and care enough about what we're doing here to help keep it going. And so let me say thank you to the folks that have done this. This is Deidre. Her contribution came in last night. Susan, Kathy O, Chris H, all last night while I was sleeping, the contributions came in. So huge thank you. Thank you always to Wes, who continuously contributes to the show as well. Okay, let's get to one of these. Oh, and look, here comes Wes. Here comes Wes jumping in with a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Wes. So appreciated. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and a good trip to wherever you went, because I haven't seen you for a few days. So thank you for being here, and thank you for that generous contribution, as always. Yeah, Mo. Very, very nice. Let's take a look at these, I think, froggies. Let's do the froggies first, because the pictures of these animals are so beautiful. They're so colorful and interesting looking. This one is called the Darwin's frog, and it's got this pointy nose you can see there. Unfortunately, it's susceptible to this toxic mold. Yeah, and they're dying because of this mold that's just taking over these frogs. It's a fungus. It's Darwin's frog, first described by Charles Darwin in 1834, but now it's being attacked by this killer fungus. So in an effort to save this species, the London Zoo rescued some of these frogs from Chile, and they flew them to London, where I guess they'll try to breed them and make sure that this species, the Darwin's frog, doesn't go extinct. It's a chytrid fungus spread by humans. The numbers of these frogs have plummeted by 90% in just 1 year. They live in the Parque Tantauco forest in southern Chile, and I guess it's not going well. So they're trying to save the remaining creatures. They sent a team of conservationists led by the London Zoo on this rescue mission to bring some of these creatures back to London for a breeding and research program. They're tiny little frogs too. They weigh less than 2 grams. They're under 3 centimeters long. And they say they're unusual because it's the male frog who becomes pregnant and carries the eggs in its vocal sac. Yeah, weird, right? They protect them as they grow into tadpoles and froglets as well. So the scientists went to the forest in Chile and they spent 5 days in October combing the forest for these frogs, which are really good at camouflaging themselves. But they have a distinctive whistle that sounds like a songbird. And so that's what led to most of the ones that were captured to save them. The folks that went out to do the rescue then checked that the animals that they caught were fungus free before they sent them back to London. They took a 6-hour boat ride. They took a 15-hour car ride to the capital of Santiago, and then they took a final flight to Heathrow in custom climate-controlled transport boxes. The journey, they say, no small feat. They had to meticulously plan this whole thing out. In all, they captured 53 frogs for this breeding and conservation program, and some of them, they say, started making their whistling calls right away. That led researchers to think that maybe these Darwin's frogs were happy in their new environment. So the frogs are on loan from the Chilean government. They are going to reproduce at the zoo so that their offspring can be reintroduced in Chile. The whole point is to not only safeguard their survival, but raise awareness of the urgent conservation challenges that these creatures face. It's this frog, the Darwin's frog. They say it has to be protected because it's a flagship species for an endangered ecosystem, which is the Southern Hemisphere's temperate forest. And this frog sustains other species like birds and snakes that feed on them as well. And the fungus that threatens the Darwin's frog has been spread around the world by people, and it's already wiped out 90 species and been responsible for the declines of about 500 other species. So I'm glad that humans are saving this frog. I have another picture of this Darwin's frog. It's not quite as colorful, but you get to see him from the back. You can see his pointy little nose. Tiny little guy. I could see how they'd be hard to find, those Darwin's frogs, because they kind of blend right in. There you go. I have another story with a video for you. And this one is about a snake. If I didn't, I mean, it sounds like if you found a venomous snake under your pillow that someone was trying to put a mob head out on you. But this is not that, apparently. This is just a snake under a pillow, but it happens to be a pretty venomous snake. They had to call out the snake removal guy who comes out in shorts, like with no arm protection, no leg protection. And he's got this snake dangling all over the place. And you would think that this snake wasn't as venomous or toxic as it is. It's called a Cape cobra. It's easily, they say, confused with the black spitting cobra. It varies in color from near black to darker light brown, beige, yellow, or speckled white. And what they say is it's by far our most dangerous cobra. And with the black mamba, it accounts for the majority of fatal snake bites in South Africa. And yet, here's this guy. Check it out. So he's lifting up the pillow. Oh, what's that? And you would think right away, okay, we're going to back away. We're going to put our, protective gear on. No. He just grabs the hook and he's like, I'm just going to go in there for it. He's no problem. These people are amazing to me. He gets it under the pillow, gives it a little hooky hook. He's grabbing this venomous snake like it's nothing. And watch him as he walks around with this thing near his bare legs. Come on. The thing is like trying to squirrel back at him. I can't even believe how bold these people are. I mean, what? Look at how crazy this is. This thing is potentially fatal. I hope he has the anti-venom and a little pack in the car. Come on. Bare hands. Look at that. Bare hands. Wild. So he gets the snake in there, hauls it away. Can you imagine if you had gotten into bed with that snake under your pillow? After seeing this video, like unreasonably, I'm moved now to check my under my pillow. I did last night too after I saw this video. But yeah, he just willy-nilly goes in there and grabs it like that. So, again, this in South Africa. Wild. They say that this Cape Cobra can stand its ground if it's threatened and is quick to form a hood and then bite you. Come on. They go on to say where the habitat for this snake is. The venom is potentially neurotoxic and it may affect your breathing rapidly. Victims need urgent hospitalization and a severe bite antivenom is essential. And here we have Joe Snake Charmer over here with his shorts and flip-flops like it's no big deal. I mean, for real. Come on. I mean, no matter how risky your job is, you'd think you would take precautions. Anyway, thank goodness someone saw that and didn't hop in bed. Imagine getting bit on the head. Ow. No bueno. Talk about this one. This is a story about a world record they're trying to set. And it's for the Macarena. How many people can we get to do the Macarena all at once? This happened in Pennsylvania. They were trying for the world record. I don't know if they achieved it. They have an annual holiday parade in Newtown, Pennsylvania. And this whole thing was capped off by everyone getting together and attempting this Guinness World Record for the largest Macarena dance. It happened in the middle of Sycamore Street right after the parade. And they played the song overhead. And the Newtown Business Association asked everyone to gather and do the dance. They already have a record for the Macarena. It's 2,219 people. It was set in England at the Buckland Community College back in 2011. They say based on the participant list and based on all the people we think we had here, they came pretty close, if not breaking it, according to the Newtown Business Association. They said, we think we entered the record books today. They're looking at how many people were there. And honestly, if you zoom out, it doesn't look like that many. Does that look like more than 2,000 people? Maybe there's more in a bigger zoom out, but it doesn't look like it. They use drones to capture the footage to count all the people. So the drone footage is being submitted to the Guinness World Records for review, and we'll see if Newtown, Pennsylvania gets their so desired Macarena Guinness World Record. I wanted to talk about this story yesterday, but didn't get the chance. The moon voyage that was being planned by NASA is delayed again. The Artemis mission was supposed to see 4 astronauts sent around the moon and back before they blasted off to land on the moon's surface a year later. And unfortunately, they had a news conference that they've now pushed the Artemis mission back to April of 2026. And then the astronaut landing mission, Artemis 3, would be planned for the following year. This after they've already delayed this thing one time. So they were supposed to take off September of 2025. Now it's being pushed back to 2026, and then they won't actually land on the moon until 2027. They're set to go up in a Musk Starship spacecraft. They say, assuming the SpaceX lander is ready, we plan to launch Artemis 3 in mid 2027. Still beats the Chinese government's announced intention to land on the moon by 2030. So they the reason for the delay is because NASA did this check of the Orion crew capsule and its heat shield, and they say the shield cracked and partially eroded during re-entry into Earth's atmosphere when it was sent up on an uncrewed test mission called Artemis 1. That happened in 2022. So they're not happy with the way that looks and aren't ready to really put people inside of it yet. The Artemis program, by the way, was established under Donald Trump's presidency. So, and this will be the first time that we're back to the moon since Apollo 17 in 1972. This time, we're not taking just people. We're going to take stuff to build lunar bases on the moon. We think, will help take humans to Mars in the future. So this is where we go back and we build our little human hut. The space agency announcing it has identified 9 possible landing locations for this mission, all of them on the moon's south pole. So when Artemis 3, I guess in 2027 now, finally lands on the moon, it's going to be a couple of firsts. The first time a woman and a Black astronaut will step on the surface of the moon. So we'll see how it goes. Keep paying attention to this story. Hopefully it won't get pushed back any further, but I'm glad that they are taking safety precautions because I feel horrible for the people that got stuck with the Boeing spacecraft that are still stuck. It's been more than 6 months for them, and they were supposed to come home, I think, after 2 months, and here they are still stuck in space. Yikes. Let's do it. It's a lotto of the day. And this one has to do with the wheel of bonuses. This is a story out of North Carolina. This man accidentally won $177,749 in an online lottery game. He said he thought his phone was in demo mode. He thought this whole thing was in demo mode. He's from Raleigh. His name is Alfonso. He said he didn't realize he was actually playing when he scored the top level epic jackpot in the Wheel Bonuses online game. He said, I thought I was playing it in demo mode. It surprised the heck out of me. He played a $1 ticket or $1 pull or whatever you do to win the $177,000 prize. He says the money is going to give his daughter an extra Merry Christmas. He said, I can use this to pay off my daughter's last year of college, and that will be her Christmas gift. What a great, great way to spend your lottery winnings. Absolutely. The ruby slippers went back on sale. Yes, they did. Aw, ruby slippers. It's the ruby slippers from the Wizard of Oz. Now, there were more than one pair of these things, but these are in really, really good shape considering how old they are. And they were worn by Judy Garland in the Wizard of Oz. And I guess, what do you do with them? Put them in a glass case and watch them and look at them? Yeah, they went on sale and they sold for quite the pretty penny. I have video to play of you. There are people talking about how important these are, how important these slippers are to the world and to the movie history. Here it is. You can see. Yeah, they sell for millions and millions of dollars. Here it is. Here they are. And I will admit, the slippers are pretty cool looking. They originally weren't supposed to be this color. They were supposed to look different than this. But in the book, I guess they were silver. But for the movie, they wanted to make them stand out. So they made them this maroon color. They just sold at auction for $28 million. So these shoes you're seeing here on screen are one of 4 surviving pairs made for the Wizard of Oz. They have become the most valuable movie memorabilia ever sold at auction, according to the auction house that held this heritage auction. 28 million. Yeah. The buyer will reportedly pay an additional 4.5 million to the Dallas-based auction house, bringing the final price to $32.5 million. That according to the Associated Press. They thought these shoes maybe might bring in 3 million or more, but when they hit the auction block, the bidding was quick, fast-paced, and it went over 3 million in a heartbeat within seconds, and it tripled within minutes. They say interest in the original ruby slippers coincides with the popularity of this new movie Wicked, which is a Wizard of Oz kind of prequel. The same pair of sparkly red heels were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in the actress's hometown of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. They were gone for a while until, and that was in 2005. They were finally found in 2018. The FBI recovered them. They had been stolen by a guy named Terry John Martin. He says, well, they think he stole the shoes after being told they were made with real jewels, only to be to find out later on they weren't made of real jewels. He pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to time served because of his poor health. So after the slippers sold, the auctioneer told bidders and spectators the previous record for a piece of entertainment memorabilia was $5.52 million for the white dress that Marilyn Monroe wore in The 7-Year Itch, that blue kind of fluffed up when she stood over a subway grate. Not anymore. Now we've got these ruby slippers. There was there's 4 pairs of these things. So there was another pair that sold in 2000 for $666,000. That's a bargain compared to this one. Steven Spielberg and Leonardo DiCaprio paid $2 million for another pair and then donated them to the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures in Los Angeles. They had other pieces of memorabilia that were sold on Saturday as well, including a hat worn by Margaret Hamilton, who was the original Wicked Witch of the West. The hat brought in $2.5 million or $2.4 million. With the fees and everything, the buyer paid almost $3 million for the witch's hat. So there's somebody with money wanting all of these things. Just crazy. Those shoes are cool though. I think if I had, no, I was going to say, if I had like, I don't know, Elon Musk style money to just blow on stuff, even then I wouldn't blow it on stuff like this. I have to say, I would like set up some foundation or something that Oprah does, set up a school in a poor area, take care of kids. I don't think I would buy the ruby slippers ever. But I'm glad they're being saved and preserved. At least there's that, right? Oh, this is a beautiful picture. There's an owl. I know we kind of did our animal thing already, but I just saw this story about this owl that was rescued from some netting in Virginia. And this owl is so beautiful with its big eyes. I have to show you guys. Absolutely amazing. Here it is. When you see it struggling, I'm so glad people take the chance to help. Look at that creature stuck in the netting. Yeah, he was in Virginia, and he was found tangled in this netting. They had to call out the animal protection folks and the New Kent County Sheriff's Office. They responded to this property where an owl got entangled in netting that had been left up. Its position in the netting required a very careful extraction because they wanted to free him without breaking his wing or hurting him in any way. Him, might be a her, I don't know. The owl was disentangled from the netting, free of serious injury, and then was released back into the wild. So the story ends very well for this owl that just had a momentary blip as it, can I say they? I don't know. As it was rescued and released. So there you go. What a beautiful animal. It is on the After Party Live, Travel Tuesday, and I was looking for I have a best place in the United States, maybe on the West Coast, to go for a Christmas weekend trip or a holiday weekend trip. I kind of think snowy winter wonderland because last week we went to the beach and the Chocolate Islands, right? So this week I thought, well, let's go to the snow. And I found this town that you probably have heard of, but I never have. Look at this sweet little town. This is Leavenworth, Washington. It's a Bavarian village. They say if you're searching for one of the cutest little towns in the whole US, look no further than Leavenworth, Washington. A charming village, unforgettable, German architecture, picturesque views as well. They say it's beautiful even in the summertime. The best time to visit, although it's stunning year round, they say summer and winter. Those are the two best. Spring and fall are gorgeous. So anytime you visit this place, it's great. But the winter is, snowy and it looks beautiful. Here's how it looks. There it is covered in snow. Here's how it normally looks. Look at that architecture. It looks like you stepped into Germany. As a matter of fact, the folks in Leavenworth have a Christmas market. They have so it's almost like you're in a different country when you're going to do these things in Leavenworth. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, they have let's see, they have it's well, I should tell you it's between Seattle and Spokane in the Cascade Mountain Range. They say it's one of the best snowy winter wonderlands in the United States. It is again a Bavarian village that features alpine-looking buildings complete with wooden balconies and cute window shutters. And over the holiday season, they have this great Christmas market. They also have activities to do. You can ski, you can sled, you can go on snowy hikes or walks, and then refuel on bratwurst and sauerkraut and beer. So it really is almost like you've stepped into a German Christmas market, but it's right here in the United States on the West Coast. They said one of the best things to do in Leavenworth during a winter visit is go to the Leavenworth Christmas Market. It runs throughout the month of December. There's caroling, there's a market with unique gifts, there's sleigh rides. There's all kinds of fun at the Leavenworth Christmas Market. They have the lights look beautiful. The town comes alive with lights all over the place. 500,000 lights. They say it's more impressive than the lights in Seattle. There are other festive activities. Again, along with the carolers, they do the roasting of chestnuts, live entertainment, Glühwein tents, a yearly children's cookie crawl, photos with Santa, gift wrapping stations. So pretty fun. Yeah, the Leavenworth Christmas Mart through the month of December. Here's another shot of this beautiful town. Something else you can do in Leavenworth, check out these guys. Yes, they have a reindeer farm, the Leavenworth Reindeer Farm. They say this is a family-run farm. It's about $20 to go into the reindeer farm per adult. It includes an educational presentation on reindeer, a chance to feed and take pictures with the reindeer herd. They say it's an incredible experience year-round, but you can really see the difference with each season. You have to book a tour online in order to visit, but how cute are those reindeer? I'm telling you, adorable. I have to show you the other reindeer picture, which I didn't load into the system, but I'm telling you, it's adorable. I love them. I've never seen a reindeer in real life. Have you? I want to go to Leavenworth and see the reindeer now. Yeah. There they are trying to probably stick their nose in the fence and get at some food. But here's another one. This guy's just lounging, hanging out. There he is. I love how they holiday them up with their red and green gear. They're pretty cute. Yeah. Leavenworth, Washington. Who knew? There's a Leavenworth Nutcracker Museum. They have 7,000 nutcrackers. They say it's a unique experience for tourists. People come all over the world, from all over the world, specifically to view this unique nutcracker collection. Costs $5 to get in to see the nutcrackers. So between the shopping and the holiday market and the Nutcracker Museum and the reindeer farm, yeah, this is pretty good. Plus skiing and sledding and music and beer and bratwurst. This is, it's in the center of Washington state, Leavenworth is. So they say you can there are places to stay here because it's a bit of a drive to get to this village. It's 2.5 hours from Seattle, 3 hours from Spokane, 2.5 hours from the North Cascades. There is a small airport about a half hour from that town, but the closest major airport would be the SeaTac airport. They have a lot of restaurants in this town as well. Andreas Keller German Restaurant, Munchen House, Visconti's, the Gingerbread Factory, Mozart's Cafe, Gustav's, Ludwig's, and Pav's Cafe Bistro. So there's a lot going on in this little town. They also were talking about the best places to stay once you make it to Leavenworth. And they were saying one of the most lovely hotels, if you're planning to go, is the Sleeping Lady Mountain Resort. It's a hotel with resort style facilities. They've got a restaurant, a bar, and a beautiful garden with mountain views. Again, that's the Sleeping Lady Mountain Resort. So I don't know. This sounds kind of fun. And it's nowhere I'd ever thought of going before. But all of the things they've got going on there make it seem pretty attractive. So I don't know. I like it. All right, I'm going to the chat to see what you guys have to say. So cute, those reindeer. I'm telling you. He said, Blue Spark says, I don't mean to make everyone jealous, but I have my lutefisk soaked in lye and ready to cook. There's still time, but not much because you need at least a week for something this delightful. Ooh, okay. Oh, John Watson says I was there in August once and it was really hot. Amazing. We need to go when it's snowy, though, John. We've got to go see this. Mo says they do. Do they have Bavarian beer and beer mugs and steins? I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking they've got all of this. Yeah, sleigh ride. Very good. Teacher Lori says, I think Frontier Village used to have reindeer a long time ago. My dad took us to Frontier Village once. My sister is 7 years younger than me, and they had a shark character there, and it scared the heck out of her. So, but we used to love to go to Frontier Village. Sea Dog says, I've seen reindeer at Disney during the winter season. I've been there during the winter season. I don't know why I've never seen the reindeer before. Yeah. Are these the reindeer this at this time infrared vision or blue light vision? I don't know, but I do know their vision changes depending on whether, how the sun is shining in their eyes. So that's interesting. Yeah, those reindeer are super cute. Super cute. Solvang is Danish. Yeah, Solvang is Danish, not Bavarian. It is Danish, I believe. My grandparents used to take us to Disneyland when we were little, my sister and I, and we would drive down there. And my grandpa would always stop. He wasn't a drive straight through guy, so we'd always stop in Solvang, and he loved the peanut brittle from Solvang. They have these little bakeries all over the place. So the big thing was to stop in Solvang for peanut brittle, which sounds weird. I know. I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, I think it's Danish. I think it's Danish. Very good. It reminds you of Solvang. It does. I'll go back to the pictures of the. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I think I'll bring up a picture of Solvang. Solvang seems more uniform in its architecture and planned out. Like everything seems to be very similarly colored and designed, whereas all of these are more like a German village where these houses are all very different and slapped together, old but different. I don't know. Maybe. Here's a picture of Solvang. See if I can bring this up for you guys. I'm sure most of us have been to Solvang. But Here's the difference in architecture between the two places. You tell me which one you like better. Which one sings to you, calls to you. I think Solvang is easier for us to get to, for sure. Let me take the comment off so you can see it better. There's Solvang. And I know you see a red house there, but for some reason I'm thinking of Solvang as being very like white and brown. Is instead of when I went to Germany, everything was incredibly colorful. Every house, kind of like San Francisco, where every house is painted a bright hue. Yeah, there's kind of a similar area. There's Solvang. I mean, it's adorable and really cute. I love Solvang. Awesome. Unfortunately, let's go from happy. So that was our trip, I should say. There you go. That was Travel Tuesday. We went to the snowy Leavenworth, Washington, with all of their holiday lights and their holiday market and their cute reindeer, their Nutcracker Museum. All of this looks absolutely wonderful. But I have found a story about this couple who unfortunately they just gotten engaged. They're trying to take this engagement photo when the diamond ring, the bride-to-be's diamond ring, ended up inside of a sewer drain. And the fire department had to come be called out. And they spent a lot of time trying to get it back. And then we've got a story about it. So I thought maybe we could take a look about what these people went through when they were trying to get their wedding ring back. Before the marriage even happens, they have a catastrophe.
Firefighters are used to being called out to some unusual and some bizarre calls. Good evening, I'm Jeff Left Coolidge. But recently the squad at Station 30 were called to help a couple with an unusual problem. And it could have saved not only the day, but even their marriage.
It was a beautiful autumn day for Nikki Mack and Corey Berbitsky. The couple were all smiles as they posed for pictures at the Cultural Gardens in University Circle.
We were taking our engagement photos, which had been rescheduled a couple of times because of Cleveland being Cleveland.
But the Cleveland curse was present that day as the photographer noticed something out of place.
Corey had something on the back of his pants, so I went to wipe it off. And when I wiped it off, my ring flew off and we just heard a ta-ting.
The ring had rolled into a nearby sewer drain. Nikki kept cool because they could see the ring in the drain. But Corey's reaction was a little different.
Yeah, I would say my heart dropped.
But it wasn't thousands of dollars in gold and diamonds that Corey saw just go down the drain. It was something even more valuable.
But for us, we have a lot of sentimental value in the ring. A lot of different aspects of my family and her family are kind of forged in that.
The diamond baguettes on the sides came from both Nikki and Corey's grandmother's rings.
So as part of that, I wanted to kind of symbolize us merging our families together in the ring itself.
And like many cats stuck in a tree, the couple called for help. And the Cleveland Fire Department came out to retrieve the ring from the sewer.
I mean, they swung into action and were just extremely helpful to us in the whole situation.
Pretty calm too. So
Yeah.
I think that helped.
Definitely gave us the assurance that we're going to get this thing out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We've got this.
So you guys are thanking them beyond belief.
Their wedding photographer, Emily Ruth, kept snapping away and captured the moments of the day.
She did just a phenomenal job in staying calm, making sure she can get good photos of the firefighters and then great photos of us after too.
And the ring came out of the Cleveland sewer sparkling like new. The couple thanked the firefighters for the help in reuniting them with their ring.
There you go. All's well that ends well. And she's got her ring back. But nice engagement photo shoot for you. Here's a story for you as well. This one is about another world record being set. It's a skateboarding record. This guy is going coast to coast on a skateboard. He has skated 3,162 miles. He's from New York. He took his trip on a skateboard over the course of 57 days, 6 hours and 56 minutes to cross the United States. 57 hours, 6 days, 56 minutes. And he set this Guinness World Record in the process. His name is Chad Caruso. He carried a small backpack, a single set of clothes. That's it. And a very small skateboard. He started his skateboarding trip in Venice Beach, California, and he completed his trip on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Virginia Beach. He said, as I skated up to the finish line in Virginia Beach. There were hundreds of people cheering me on, police escorts, local skaters pushing alongside me. He said, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed with emotion. He said, kept thinking back to the teenage version of myself who dropped out of school to pursue skating and fought through all the voices telling me to quit over the years. He has been skating for 25 years. He was trying to raise awareness of addiction and mental health issues. He said skateboarding helped him get sober 9 years ago, and he hopes that his story will inspire other people to do the same. And when he got from one side of the country all the way to the other, he celebrated by throwing his skateboard into the ocean. They then gave a speech declaring a Chad Caruso Day in Virginia. He said, if you have a vision, believe in bringing it to life and don't let thoughts or opinions of other people waver your resolve. Can you imagine skating from Venice Beach all the way to Virginia Beach? Again, it's 3,162 miles coast to coast. Not very many changes of clothes, a little skateboard. Wild. I mean, that's pretty cool to make that happen, to get that record. This is a record that seems a little more challenging. You have these people that complete some type of feat in 1 minute or less, where they pop as many balloons as they can or eat as many pickles as they can. That has nothing on this guy. I mean, this guy, the physical, the mental challenges to skateboard from one side of the United States to the other, that's a record. Some of the records you just kind of roll your eyes at and go, do we really need to celebrate this? Did you really need to do this? This one, I mean, I don't know why you would want to do this, but this seems pretty crazy. Yeah. Um, I don't want to end on a negative note, but I do think this story is really important. And it is about opioid abuse and how opioid abuse can actually cause changes in our brains, which I know is not as happy as a skateboarding story with great success achieved. But I think it's important to note that, it's a long-term thing. And even if you overcome addiction to opioids, you may be left with changes in your brain chemistry. And it brings back that old, this is your brain on drugs kind of advertisement. There was a study that shows that opioid addicts experience structural and functional changes in specific regions of their brains. They did MRI scans on 2.5 million. Well, I should say let me go back. The estimate is that 2.5 million adults in the United States have opioid use disorder. And so that's why it's important to understand what's happening. More than 81,000 overdose deaths happened involving opioids in 2023 alone. So the researchers said their goal was to understand better what could have caused these alterations to inform new treatment targets. So the Yale School of Medicine's Department of Radiology and Biomedical Imaging was involved in this study published Tuesday in the journal Radiology. And they compared the brain scans of people addicted to opioids with people that are not addicted. And they took the scans between 2021 and 2023. And they were specifically looking at MRIs for more than 100 people with opioid addiction and 105 without. The MRI scans measure brain activity by detecting changes in blood flow, functional MRI scans, while structural scans take snapshots of the shape of different brain regions within. And the scans showed changes in brain regions that contain large amount of opioid receptors. Some of the regions, like the thalamus and the right medial temporal lobe of the brain, were smaller in opioid addicts. Others, like the cerebellum and the brainstem, were larger. And researchers say these brain regions also appeared to have increased functional connectivity between them. The results showed some differences between men and women and brain changes linked to opioid addiction. And the researchers say previous studies have been performed on small sample sizes, and those didn't include women. This is a moderate sample size, half of it was female. And they found alteration patterns in the medial prefrontal cortex, which is a core region involved in many mental health conditions, were different between men and women in the group with opioid use disorder. They say it highlights the importance of assessing sex differences or gender differences in opioid use disorder studies like this. Now that they've figured out there's a difference, they say they're investigating what that difference means and why it's happening and how it influences someone's behavior. They also say they need to look into whether the brain changes are permanent or if they subside after someone stops doing drugs or gets treatment for their addiction. Eventually, what they'd like to figure out is how the changes to the brain in people with opioid use disorder are linked to outcomes in the end. So I thought that was interesting and wanted to share it with you. And I'm sorry to end on a down note. Well, it's not a down note. I mean, we're finding out information. We're doing things that are better. So I won't end on a down note. I'll show you a picture of the reindeer again. Right? All right. Well, before we end the show, I'm going to the chat. What do you say here? Rev says our country no longer knows the difference between appropriate opioid use and abuse. They lump us all in, and then they use that to abuse us. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Christmas cookies? You guys know how to end it on a good note. Absolutely. Blue Spark says I found pastry flour helps with the spritz. Makes them, I think you probably meant to say pop out of the gun instead of poop out. But there you go. Yeah. All right. Well, that is the After Party Live. I so appreciate you guys being here for it. And I will see you tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show, where John Rothman and Michael Schur will have a conversation. I think it's always really interesting. You get to know the guests individually, but then to see them put together and see how they interact together, I'm loving it. So John Rothman and Michael Schur on the Mark Thompson Show tomorrow. I will be there as well. And here on the After Party Live, we'll do some Waterfall Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow. But until then, stay warm and make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I think we all should check our pillow tonight, right? I'm totally into puzzles lately. Absolutely. Okay, Blue. Oop it is. Ren with $10 super sticker. Thank you to Ren, and thank you to Wes again. Thank you, guys.